Michelle, I'm going to turn to you now. Um, so Elena's just laid out some of the challenges and some of the ways that Student U is addressing this. So my question for you is, how has Student U been supporting students this year and addressing those needs that Elena just mentioned? And kind of a second part is, what is Student U doing to kind of grow their impact to affect more students in Durham?
Yeah, thanks for that question, Scott. So as I think about the needs that Elena just shared in conjunction with our current programming, I like to highlight 2 to 3 ways we as a program have decided to mature and or increase our methods of support for our students and families this year. I've noticed that all of our programs are operating with a focus on improving our approach to how we support our students and families. And then I've also seen, as a whole, we are dedicated to incorporating more robust mental wellness and social emotional structures in our work. The last thing I've seen is we remain committed to creating an affirming environment, which you've heard Amy and Elena already address, and that allows students to develop positive racial identities. To my first point regarding our approach to supporting our students and families, one major way we are improving our approach is our intentional shift to move from the whole child approach to more of a focus on intergenerational programming. Student U was founded nearly 15 years ago, and our North Star has always been to put our students and families first. We've had 15 years to work towards mastering support for our students using the whole child approach to education, a focus on social, emotional, mental, physical, and cognitive development skills for our students. And I think that is wonderful. But over time, we've also concluded that our focus can't just be on the child. We found that another way to empower our young people is to combat some of the barriers they're experiencing, is to create more space for intergenerational programming, more space for there to be an exchange of information, experiences, life lessons, and knowledge. Intergenerational programming provides an opportunity to connect with young people, adults, and seniors who are experiencing different phases of life. So we create that space for connection between young adults and our adults by training our summer academy staff to not just lead a classroom, but to develop relationships with the students and their parents. Another great example of intergenerational programming in Student U with regard to young people connecting with seniors involves our tutoring program. Over the course of the pandemic, we've developed new partnerships with the organizations such as OLLI. Virginia, I think I've seen you up here, which solely consists of seniors whose only qualification for membership is to be at least 50 years old and have a lifelong love of learning. Through OLLI, we have a new group of volunteer tutors who have consistently shown up for our students by sharing knowledge around what the students have learned in the schools. But this is only the tip of the iceberg. Aside from the work that we do with our staff and volunteers, there is this delicate work of the two-generation approach, which focuses on the whole family. Our plan here at Student U is to help provide opportunity for families to gain the information, resources, and support needed to guide and advocate for their children. All right, so close your eyes and picture this. On a Thursday evening at the W.G. Pearson Center, we have a family with one child at YRP in our middle school program on the 3rd floor, another child in the high school program receiving after-school tutoring on the 1st floor. The parent is attending a parent workshop across the hall, and their younger child is receiving childcare next door so that the parent can focus. I hope that you are planning to hear more about this work because Amy is going to share a little bit more about who our family engagement coordinator is, and Andrea is going to talk about this new work that we are doing with our programs. So one more piece to know regarding our improvement in the approach is the way we're able to impact more students in Durham by sharing the best practices. Just as we glean from community organizations or how we've attended trainings and conferences to learn and grow, shout out to We Are for the additional training with our curriculum writers on being more culturally responsive. We've stepped out more, and we are doing the same for others. As we continue to evaluate, reflect, and refine our practices, we've honed in on our strengths and are continuing to do more dissemination work within our community. For example, Amy talked about how Durham Public Schools launched their new program for student success coaches. Since their model closely resembles Student U's high school advocate model, we had the pleasure of constructing their initial training. Many of our high school advocates are also DPS teachers and staff, so we asked them to assist with the training of their colleagues. Ellen Holmes, Rakeem Spearman, Daryl Patterson, and Tracy Barrett, all amazing teachers in Durham and exceptional student youth advocates. They did a phenomenal job leading sessions because they understand firsthand both the role of a teacher and advocate, as well as the challenges that teachers and students face to support students with academic success. Let's drop a heart emoji to show love to our advocates and our teachers who are doing such amazing work this year. So I have to highlight the work that we also do in our summer academy to share best practices. This is one of our most amazing pieces of Student U. We recruit experienced teachers as mentors to train and coach our new beginning teachers over the span of 5 weeks. In 2019, 62% of our alumni teachers shared that they have gone into education of some form, and that number continues to grow. Our next move is to really gather the data around how many student youth teachers are now working in Durham Public Schools. Scott said this yesterday. We are not only an academic enrichment program for our students, but we are a teaching training program as well. So to my second point, our program staff has also improved in the way we support our students and families through a more robust mental wellness and social and emotional structure. And this has become more effective for our families and more sustainable for our staff. Our student and family support services team provides wraparound support for all students from middle school, high school, and college. Ashley, our director of student and family support, is also our social worker. She offers individual services for our students and families, but she has also been working on a tiered system of support. Our middle school students participate in weekly wellness sessions. Our high school students can attend workshops geared towards social emotional support as well as physical health. And then we have Alex, our director of learning and academic support, who spearheads how we approach academic support for our students, especially our students with high academic needs, IEPs, or 504s. She also works very closely with our academic coaches. And then there's our family engagement coordinator. I feel like we've been saving her, hyping her up. I'm so excited for you all to hear from her later today. And our family advocates, who are actually parents of our student youth students. They're all operating from a student and families approach. In addition to all the work our students and family support team offers, we also implemented the aspect of restorative practices in our work. Restorative practices is a framework for being that is rooted in showing respect, taking responsibility, and strengthening relationships in our community. Restorative practices shows up in how we operate the day-to-day with our students and families, how we train our staff, and now how we engage in our community as we train other organizations and students and families to operate from a restorative lens. We partnered with Peaceful Schools, hey Crystal, to expand our work beyond Student U. And this fall, we plan to host our second annual restorative practices workshop for parents in the Durham community. I'm pretty excited about that. I'll be supporting with that training. You all should come. So finally, my last point, we are supporting our students by continuing the work of creating affirming environments that allow students to develop positive racial identities. We have been doing this work for a while by operating from an anti-racist lens, but the work Elena described around our new curriculum speaks for itself. Each grade embodies a theme that will empower students to embrace their identities and own their own education. In the high school program, we will now have an ethnic studies department that consists of a Latinx studies course, Black studies, and then our 10th graders are going to come together and they are going to work in the communities of change class, which will work with communities in Durham. We operate with a diverse staff in all of our programs, but more specifically, our summer academy consists of teachers from all backgrounds, age ranges, some are current teachers, and some are aspiring teachers. And my favorite and final note, over the past few years, we continue to have more Student U alumni students come back and work in our program. Talk about affirming environments. Former students who look like our current students who have experienced the program, recognize and value the community, are now coming back to teach and share with our young people. That statement alone deserves all the hearts, all the claps, all the emojis, all the excitement. So shout out to our current students, and some of them are alumni. Arturo, who is currently operating as one of our high school advocates. Laura, who is currently operating as our middle school academic coach for middle school. Lonnie, who's going to be our grade head in our summer academy. And Jaya, who's going to be our internship coordinator in summer academy. Shout out to all our beautiful people coming back and pouring back into our community. Thank you all for letting me take a little bit of your time. I know I talked a lot, but hey, I mean, we're doing a lot of great things. And I appreciate you for letting me talk about the current state of our programming here at Student U. This is only a snippet of the work happening here. Earlier this week, our middle school students hosted their first student staff meeting. Our high school students received notifications for their internship interviews next week. Shout out to Steven. And one of our college students landed an internship opportunity they've been waiting for that they're going to do in the summer. I hope you get an opportunity to learn even more about Student U, and I look forward to hopefully partnering with you at some point in the future. All right, Scott, I think that's it. That was a lot, but I think I got it out. Passing it back to you.